Okay. So let me just say a little bit about the Senior Citizens for a Better South Fulton. And we are incorporated in the state of Georgia as a nonprofit working on a 501c3. The application is in process. It came about because we wanted to have a senior citizen community for the whole city. District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we don't have it. So we decided we would create a entity to kind of lead the way and become a vessel for what we feel should be included in this type of community. And I'm going to read our mission statement. Our mission statement is, we're an organization formed to educate, empower senior citizens with information and resources to enhance their life management skills more effectively, that they may achieve optimum longevity with grace and dignity. Issues of health care, safety, elder abuse awareness, housing, independent living, transportation, as well as civic education and social engagement will be addressed and actions implemented to bring relief as necessary. So we have 10 focus points that we have addressed, and we have formed committees for these focus points. These questions that you will receive today will reflect our concerns around those focus points. And the focus points that we have decided to address are communication, elder abuse programs, fundraising, independent living and assisted living communities, affordable, safe housing, healthcare partnerships, advocacy and representation, lunch meal programs, sanitation hardship programs, senior resource centers, and transportation programs. So we'll have meetings, and then we'll have special events in which we bring in different entities like we've done in the past. The district attorney's office came in and did elder abuse awareness, very effective. So we've had some other people to come in and speak to the senior citizens to empower senior citizens and to protect them, also to give them contacts, which is really needed as you get older. You know, you want to feel safe. We've also came up with a pledge, and many of you have already signed the pledge, but it's a powerful pledge that it shows your commitment to our seniors in the city of South Fulton. And by signing the pledge, you agree to certain things. And we're not asking you to sign your life away or anything like that. But it does address a lot of the issues that we are asking for. So sometime during this, we will ask if you will commit to making the senior citizens' life one that we are a part of, and we have a say-so, and that our safety is also included in the decisions that are made, as well as our financial hardship. Those are the things that really address us. So without further ado, Kwame is going to be Kwame Wise. Oh, one other thing. Our board members, we have 7 board members that are here today. They bring with them expert skills. And we couldn't do it without them. You know, this city is made up of retired engineers, retired lawyers, retired educators. And so we have found the best board of directors to serve and represent the senior citizens. And I'm going to start with Ellen Miller-Mapp. She is the vice chair. Ellen, if you stand up so everybody can see. Greg Bailey is our secretary. We have Doris Clark back there in the back. Doris is our treasurer. We have Pastor Henry, and he's our fundraising person. How appropriate. And then we also have Karen McGeehan, and she's our public relations and one of the spokespersons. So if you need anything, just let us know. We hope to do this very organized. We're going to ask the question. Nobody's going to come up here yelling at you or anything like that. This is the way it should be done. You will be asked questions by us. But we're going to get them from the seniors in the city. Okay?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. First thing I'd like to do is everyone in the audience who may have forgotten to mute your phone or turn it off, could you please do that now? Also, all of the candidates here, these mics are designed to be spoken directly into, because if you don't have the mic directly in front of you, then it won't pick it up. Okay. These first few questions are going to come from our organization. So the question is going to be for all candidates. The first question is, and I'm going to start right here at the end in District 5 with Ms. Keosha. How will you promote and facilitate social and recreational activities specifically for senior citizens?
Well, good evening, everyone. I am Keosha Bell. And to answer your question, Mr. Wise, really engagement. Engagement is important to me. I'm a big proponent of community service, but also customer service. I have well over 25 years of event planning skills and own, as an entrepreneur, an event planning company. And so one thing, having a mother who is a senior, or as I call a seasoned elite, it's important to me to make sure that we are addressing the concerns of our senior citizens. So I want to make sure that we're engaging with our community, engaging with our senior citizens, and finding out those resources that we can add, those programs that we can add to our existing programs, even with Parks and Rec. So training, as far as training, you know, we're moving into a world of technology, making sure that our seniors are equipped to make that move, making sure that they have proper resources, so making sure that we go out there and have food programs that are available and accessible for our seniors. So those will just be a few, I believe. You're telling me the time is up? Okay. So that would be a couple of them as well. You know, really networking with our churches and our local communities are important, so developing those support groups that are available for our senior citizens are equally important. So you want to develop events, you want to make you sure that you're focusing on community engagement, and that's what I will be doing.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, same question. If you need me to repeat it, I can do that.
Repeat that question, please.
Okay, this is under social and recreational activities. How will you promote and facilitate social and recreational activities specifically for senior citizens?
Well, my name is Kalvin, Bennett, District 5. When I first started my campaign, one of the first things I did was have a brunch with seniors, and a lot of you guys were there, because I knew the importance of getting seniors involved in the process and learning more about what we need. I'm a senior citizen myself. You know, learning about what we need and what we can do to enhance our life. So one of the first things I'll do is turn to a group like yours. You know, and this one of this, I think, is going to be the cornerstone of my administration, would be to form committees. You know, and a senior citizens committee is exactly what we need, because we've been neglected for the past 6 years. I don't think the council did anything over the past 6 years to address, you know, some of the major concerns of seniors, and I'm sure we'll probably get more into that as we move forward.
All right. Thank, Ms. Harris. Same
Hello.
question.
Yes, sir. Well, you don't have to repeat it. The reason that I got involved in the city was because of seniors. I live in a highly populated senior area, and I noticed that a lot of the senior citizens weren't aware of a lot of things that were going on. This was 2017, 2018. And I would make flyers and attach them to mailboxes, just encouraging the seniors to come to the meeting so that they can make their own informed decisions. I think that there should be senior facilities. We have 110,000 residents, and I'm not sure what percentage is senior, but there should be a senior facility in every district. I think that I'm just very concerned about seniors in terms of getting information. I think that seniors should, there should be robocalls. My time up?
Thank you.
Sure.
Dr. Rowell.
Thank you. Section 1.12 of our charter stipulates the services that the city shall provide. And while senior service is not one of the ones that we are allowed to use our city resources on, it's very important that we leverage relationships. And I've done that since being in office. District 1 is fortunate in that we have 3 senior housing communities. You have Arbor Terrace, you have QLS Villa, and the newest that was brought on since we've been a city, which is Anthem. In addition, we have the one senior center in the city, which is QLS on Danforth Road. So if seniors are not taking advantage of that opportunity, I want to encourage you to do that because you can be a member for $50. They have a range of activities to keep seniors engaged. And I will continue, as I always have, to make sure we engage seniors in our community. I was the one who advocated for the first senior housing to come to our city. And so that came online during the pandemic, and it offered 160 units of affordable housing.
Thank you. Ms. Gaines-Dingle.
Hello, everyone. Excuse my voice. I lost my voice. What I would do to promote and bring engagement for the seniors is first I would love to have a coffee and conversation with the seniors in District 1 through District 7 to see what they are lacking. As I've heard previously about bringing things to Parks and Recs, one thing that I would love to do is bring things like nutrition in so they can find a meal plan for them, find the Meals on Wheels for the seniors so that they don't have to worry about getting out. I would also look into the transportation because I know right now the transportation is for $1, but it only can take you 15 miles. So I would look into that to try to restructure that program as well. I would also look into getting more senior facilities within the city of South Fulton so that the seniors can have something to do and somewhere to go so they don't have to depend on the Parks and Recs all the time to have somewhere to go.
Thank you. Mr. Williams.
How you doing? I'm David Williams. To me, I think the biggest thing that needs to happen, and it's the one thing across the board, we need to have communication. Because in the last couple of meetings I've been in, I've heard stuff about the city that I didn't even know, and I'm out there a lot. So we have to find ways to communicate with the seniors about what's going on, what advantages and stuff that they have in the city. You know, so whether we're using mailers, whether we're using flyers, whether we find a South Fulton TV channel where it has everything that's going on in the city. But we need to find a way to communicate so seniors have an understanding of what's going on in the city. And that's the best thing you can do. You have to tell people what's going on. You have to show people what's going on. Everybody has their own way of understanding, so what you have to do is hit every way, that way everybody can understand.
Thank you. Mr. Crane.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bennie Crane, and I'm delighted to be here, and my hat's off to this organization and to the pastor, who's the shepherd of this house. Well, listen, one thing that's very, very important to me is to keep my ear pressed against your lips. I want to hear from the seniors. Well, let me say this. I have had the conversations about senior services with the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, and I have gotten a commitment from the Board of Commissioners that for District 3, a senior citizen, they have committed to bringing that to District 3, and I'm delighted that that's going to happen. And I hope it happens on my watch starting January 1st. I'm the only one that sits up here today that I've built senior housing in this city. I've always taken a global approach. I ran the Fulton County Public-Private Housing Initiative, and on Old National Highway, check it out, Providence Glen, that is a 55-plus community that was approved on my watch over that organization, spending millions of federal dollars because we cared about seniors then and now. I look forward to this engagement tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Pritchett.
Thank you for having me. My name is Councilwoman Linda Pritchett, and I serve District 7. With regards to social and recreational activities, I will continue to do what I have been doing. I've had a few bingo brunches for seniors. I've had senior breakfasts. I've also had activities such as the first International Farmers Market, so that people would have a variety of things to patronize. I've also held 2 Women's Wellness Day. I just had one about 2 weeks ago because I am concerned about women's wellness and just making sure that women have an outlet, especially senior women. Also, when I worked in this city, I worked for Councilwoman Rosie Jackson, and she was the chair of a senior committee. They had, at that time, we organized a senior gala. It was a very successful event. But since she's been gone, no one has done anything with regard to that committee. What I do to communicate with the seniors in my district is through my newsletter and also by mailing them information.
Thank you. And Mr. Reynolds.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alvin Reynolds, candidate for the City of South Fulton District Seat number 7. Thank you for allowing me to be here in this opportunity just to share. Seniors are dear and near to my heart. Let me just say that being in the corporate world, my wife and I, we own a small business who caters to seniors. We're not just putting programs on for, bingo and luncheons and things of that nature. We care about your taxes. We care about your housing. We care about your well-being. These are the essential things that moves your life. We care about your property. So we are going to continue to work with outside groups and especially partnering with this organization so that we can make sure our seniors are taken care of. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your responses. I should have done this prior to asking the first question. I want to ask each one of you to introduce yourself. We're going to give you 30 seconds to introduce you. Would you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your platform? I'm going to start again in District 5.
All right, thank you again. Keosha Bell, District 5 candidate. A little bit about my platforms would include restoring public trust, transparency, and ethics that we need here in the City of South Fulton. Definitely want to work on tactics and create a strategic plan for public safety and violence prevention, economic and workforce development, our seniors, our seasoned elite, as well as disability care, focusing on our seniors as well as individuals with disabilities, as well as education and youth programs and services. My focus is be the change that we want to see, and based on my experience in each of those areas, I will bring that to the table.
Again, my name is Kalvin, Bennett, District 5. Since day one when we became a city, I've been involved in the politics of in service to our communities. Just as Councilwoman Pritchett just pointed out, I did a lot of work with Rosie Jackson. A lot of the ordinances that she put out, that she authored, I worked on. Getting Sierra Townhomes closed down, I was a part of that. The no loitering ordinance throughout the city, I was a part of that, working with her to get that done. And I served on the ethics board and also served on the zoning board. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Pamela Harris, and I come to you with a heart full of unwavering dedication, hope that is strong as the foundation of this great city. Dedication to our seniors, youth, or to any segment of our community is paramount, and it will take a village of inclusion. As your representative, I promise to be that change, promise to lead with integrity, transparency, and respect for the law. I will make a promise to you that I will be your voice at all costs.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Catherine Foster Rowell. I'm your councilperson for District 1 for the City of South Fulton. I've served since the inception of the city for the last 6 years, serving as the city's first mayor pro temp. Since being in office, I've authored a number of pieces of legislation on a range of topics, specifically addressing everything from infrastructure investments to including investments in our National Flood Program, and also worked with our local communities on senior issues, which we'll talk more about.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angel Gaines Dingle, and I'm running for the seat for District 1. My platform is going to be focused on better housing for the seniors, the youth program with Parks and Recs. I want to bring youth programs in to help some of these youth get off the street and not commit so many crimes. I also want to work with public safety to get that done. I want to let you all know that I'm here to bring honesty, transparency, integrity to District 1 and to the City of South Fulton.
Hello, I'm David Williams. I'm a candidate for District 3. I retired from the Army in '07, and since I've been in the city, I've worked with 3 nonprofit organizations. In the last 3 years, I've fed 10,000 people, mainly seniors, and I don't have a nonprofit organization. I'm a person that gets out there and get it done. The Book Bank Foundation, I work with them 4 times a week, 3 senior homes in Atlanta. Georgia Feeds Family off of Old National, I work with them every Monday, feeding people. So I look forward to taking care of South Fulton. To me, we're like a family, and the seniors are the head. You gotta support them.
Good evening, South Fulton. My name is Bennie Crane, and I was the one that started the movement to create the City of South Fulton. I went to the Georgia State University to get the feasibility study, made personal guarantees, and led the organization out of which other organizations were formed to continue to carry the torch. I'm running on 3 major planks in the platform. That's economic development, safer communities, and ethics reform, because I believe what you've told me, that you want a city that you can be proud of and that we can be on the news for all the right reasons and not for all the wrong reasons. And I'll bring civility, decorum, professionalism, and honor to this seat. I look forward to serving if I'm so fortunate to be elected on November the 7th.
Hello again. My name is Linda Pritchett, and my platform is making communities safer. Since I've been elected, we had a traffic light installed that has been saving lives. I've dealt with food insecurities and blight. I have supported the businesses in District 7, and most of all, showing what responsive good government looks like. In the short 10 months that I have served, I have sponsored 5 pieces of legislation on my own and co-sponsored other matters. I would like to be reelected to continue the good work that I have started. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alvin Reynolds, candidate for the City of South Fulton, District Seat number 7. I have been living in the district that I want to represent for well over 20 years. We've been a pillar in the community and this city for that long. My platform is simply this: fostering economic development, and that's balanced economic development, public safety, and also being a good steward over the city's resources. That means managing and watching and making wise decisions over your tax dollars, which we have not been able to do thus far. So again, I just want you to consider me for the next seat, next term at District 7. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go back to the questions from senior citizens for a better South Fulton. This time I'm going to start on this end with Mr. Reynolds. This topic is on budget transparency. How will you ensure transparency and accountability in the management of public funds?
You have to get the community and the people engaged and involved. You cannot do anything without going to the people first. The problem that we're having now is transparency. Too many things are being done behind the scenes. And when the budget hit out front, it's already pretty much been decided on what's going to happen. And these meetings that you have, these budgetary hearings that they put on, they've already been decided on what they're going to do with them. So we want to bring those types of things to the forefront, get with the community first, and make sure they understand the budget. Make sure that they know exactly what these line items are and what is being proposed. A lot of times we don't understand where our money is going and where it's being spent. So we have to get engaged, get the community involved, because we can't do anything without the community. We shouldn't be doing anything without the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
So having served for 10 months, I can say this. It is very easy to criticize what we do, but it takes a lot of courage to offer yourself to serve people. With regard, can we have some respect here? Because while I'm speaking, I hope no one else will be speaking.
Go ahead.
Okay? So, in order to have budget transparency, it requires an elected official to communicate with the constituents. I've held many town hall meetings to address public safety, sanitation, tax appeals, different issues that people have to understand. This is where money is allocated. I've also sent out detailed budget analysis through my community newsletter. And I also take a lot of phone calls from residents. They don't speak to other people, they speak directly to me. Many of you in the audience have my cell phone number. You contact me day, night, weekends, whatever, and I'm constantly responsive to you. So that's transparency. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Crane.
Transparency is a very, very important component to doing what I hope to do. But it's not just about the budget, it's about what we do in total. Like I said earlier, it's about keeping my ear pressed against your lip. We'll have ongoing conversations, but I'll live a life that's transparent. You'll know that I'm going to be very accountable. Here's what I won't do. I will not have a situation where you don't understand something and you are seeking an understanding and you're going to be met with incivility and bullying. Those days are over. It's time to respect the seniors, because it's our jobs to leave this city in good hands for those who are going to come behind us. So I want to make sure that we have the kind of wraparound collaboratives so that you will be fully informed, you'll be fully engaged, and we're going to make sure that you are having a seat at the table, because they tell me if you don't have a seat at the table, you'll be on the menu.
Mr. Williams.
Before you get to transparency, my thought process is character. A person's character makes them. So I'm not going to sit down at a table if I don't understand what I'm coming to you about. If I don't have the information for you, I'm not going to bring it to you. But what I will do is I'll have complete understanding of what's going on, so I can explain to you so you can understand where the money's going, where the budget is, and how far it should go. Also, I'm going to do something I've did my whole life: make sound decisions with somebody else's money, because it's not mine, it's ours. So whatever I do, we all should benefit from it.
Thank you.
In regards to the budget plan, what I would do is I would have effective communication with the citizens in District 1. I feel like that effective communication and having them understand the budget, not just showing them the budget, is one thing. I would sit down with them and make sure that they understand the funds is going to X, Y, Z, and this is why we are doing it this way. And if they have questions about it, if I cannot answer those questions at that time, I will make sure that we will have a meeting so that we can have someone there that can further explain things to them so that they can understand it. But I do believe that effective communication is what's needed and what has not been done.
Thank you. Dr. Rowell?
Thank you. Just to get a little bit in the process, the city manager actually prepares the budget. If your council person is interacting with their constituents, which I do, I share the concerns that I've heard throughout the entire year with the city manager, so that is reflected in the budget. I think that's why you've seen various initiatives come out from the city to include the solid waste assistance program, the rent and mortgage assistance program. Those were concerns that we've heard. Traffic calming is something that I heard across, my district. And so for the last year and a half, if you ride through District 1, you see multiple investments. So the city manager's job is to take the feedback that she gets from the council and the community, and that informs the development of the budget. And the public hearing is the process for a community to weigh in. And again, I think we've addressed that. We did that and rolled back our millage rate for the first time in 6 years, which was a huge step forward, I think.
Thank you. Ms. Harris?
Thank you. The seniors, there's so many seniors that are unaware of what's going on, and I think there needs to be a better way of communicating with them. I think that if a council person has $5,000, $10,000 a month in P cards, we could do polling, we could send out flyers that I've been getting in the mail, just to make sure that everyone is aware of what's going on. The seniors are very concerned about losing their homes because of this tax. We were told that it was going to be a utility bill. It's now a tax bill. And a lot of residents are concerned about that. One resident got a letter stating that there was going to be a lien on their house. I believe it's been straightened out, but there's so many seniors that can be affected by this waste program. Also, it is my hope that we do something about stereogenics on Fulton Industrial. It's 1 mile from Anthem, a senior citizen facility.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett?
I think one of the major issues, we throw this word transparency around. Just because you tell me something don't mean you're being transparent. A lot of times we get these presentations of these budgets and all these numbers are being thrown at us, but I don't remember one meeting from my district, District 5, where we discussed a budget before a budget was even, worked on. I think if you're representing constituents, conversations need to be had up front. We need to be well aware of what's coming up in that budget. Now, I'm not talking about specific line items, but I don't want to wait until Ms. Subadan is giving a presentation and then I got to start picking through what she's telling me. We should have the opportunity to have a peek, at least, and discuss it within our own community to talk about some of the things that we want to see in our city. We do the budget. She puts it together, but we're really dictating the budget through our needs and our desires. That's how I feel about transparency.
Thank you.
HOT, H-O-T, honesty, openness, and transparency. I work for the people. I have to listen to the residents, and I am the voice and the representation, not just for District 5, but entirely for the City of South Fulton. So before we start making decisions, our first step should be collaborating, developing a communication plan so that everyone fully understands what it entails in the budget. we do need to address line items. We do need to make sure that our residents, especially the senior citizens, understand what this budget entails. And so moving forward, being a leader, you have to be able to communicate, but you also have to listen. And the first thing would be is to hearing from you, my bosses, the residents of the city of South Fulton.
Thank you. All right, this next question, again, Mr. Reynolds, it involves accessibility and mobility. These are all geared toward seniors. What will you do to ensure that public spaces and services are accessible to senior citizens, especially those with mobility challenges, enforcing ADA laws for new and grandfathered businesses?
Well, being in the business that I am as an engineer, I know all too well about the ADA, the HIPAA laws, and so forth. Listen, we have to foster in outside entities and create programming for the seniors so that they can have transportation wherever it is they need to go. I often say all the time, you can't do anything without the seniors. And whatever resource, program, service is afforded to them, they need to have. And so whatever it takes, that's what we need to do and make sure that they have the opportunities to get around, go where they need to go. If I have to drive them myself, I will. And also, let me say this too, this is not conflict or confrontation. This is just actual factuals about what's going on in our city. And that's why we're here and to address those types of things today. So don't get sidetracked about people talking about criticizing and so forth, because we're here to straighten out a mess that is going on. Thank you.
So in dealing with accessibility and mobility of citizens, one of the things that was very important to me was to make sure that the citizens that got killed at the intersection of 138 and Bethsaida Road, that would never happen again. A lot of the people who lived on Bethsaida Road in that area complained about excessive speeding, complained about cars flipping over into their lawns. They were afraid to drive onto 138. So we made sure that that road is safe. I've also instructed through our city manager that the police have safety checks, have speed monitors, and we'll make sure that people are not going in excessive speeds down 138. In addition to that, related to mobility and parking spaces, we don't have many retail businesses. We have 2 shopping plazas in District 7, and both of them have ramps, safety ramps, so people with wheelchairs and disabled persons can patronize.
Thank you. Mr. Crane.
This is a very, very important question and a very, very legitimate concerns. Here's what you have to know. I'm appalled when I hear and find out that a city that started from scratch and should have the guidance to know what ADA compliance is all about and having accessibility. But when you have our courthouse that's out of compliance with ADA, you know, that's, to me, it never should have happened. Now, I know that there have been some attempts to get moved that were derailed, but we never should have been there. We never should have been there. Here's what, so it's important that we get this thing right. I will make sure that, number one, we gotta fix this problem with the courts and make sure it doesn't happen at any other facilities in this great city, to make sure that it's accessible and we have all the things in place so that seniors and disabled people will be able to conveniently and comfortably navigate our community.
Thank you. Mr. Williams.
I'm the type of person, I don't like to wait till something happen and then say, hey, what are we gonna do? We gotta get to a point to where a lot of things we've gotta do prior. Everybody here, well, I'm a pre-senior, so a lot of us have seniors. My mom is my #1, so I understand what she goes through. So that I know that, guess what I do? I talk to her, and I go ahead and stuff she's seen, stuff she's done, places she's got to go that we don't have in our city. So those are the things you do. You don't wait till something happen and then try to get something done. You got to have something prepared for it long before it happens.
As I know that I've been around in District 1, like Councilwoman Pritchett stated, the plazas that we have in the area do have mobility for those that need to get around. Back to my previous statement when I said about transportation for the seniors that cost $1, but they only take you so far. I would want to work with that program to see how we can change that so that they can have access to get to doctor's appointments that may not be next door in the area where they live at, that may be a little bit further. So I would want to invest and look into that situation.
Thank you. I think a couple of things that the city has worked on just in mobility in general, and it started a couple of years ago working with MARTA to make sure even our public transit stops throughout our city actually had shelters. I think if you know, really early on, we really didn't have any. In addition, as it relates to the transportation available to seniors, I can tell you for the senior center in our city, they do provide transportation services if you want to use QLS. As I mentioned earlier, senior services are provided through Fulton County, not through the city. But I would work with the commissioners, Commissioner Aronson, and the entire Board of Commissioners. I think that is something to advocate, but that is not a concern I've heard about the distance requirements. But it's worth having additional conversation to find out if that's something we need to prioritize and work with our commissioners on.
Thank you. Ms. Harris?
We definitely are going to need more programs. I think a lot of the problems was a lack of overall plan and vision. In District 1, we've got a lot of construction going on, and if you're traveling on Campbellton Road around between 3:30 and 6 o'clock, there's a deadlock. If an emergency vehicle needed to get down Campbellton Road, it wouldn't happen. So that is something that I definitely think needs to be addressed. Infrastructure is a problem.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett?
I would think that if the council would allow residents to speak at the council meetings with what's on their heart and their mind, a lot of these questions would be answered up front. You know, we don't need a council to constantly tell us what we want and what we need. We need a council that listens to what we want and what we need. And I think that's a big issue. And I'm not knocking any council person up here, I'm not being personal, but I just never was a part of a city government where a resident that only has 2 minutes to speak twice a month is not allowed to speak about what they want to speak about, what's on their heart. So some of these issues that we're talking about, ADA and mobility, you could have got this from the senior group tonight. You know, if you allow them to speak at our meetings.
Thank you.
That's my take on it.
Thank you. Ms. Bell?
As a person who actually works and has worked with individuals with disabilities well over 8 years, I understand the ADA. We want new programs. Our seniors need health care resources. We want new programs, but they've got to be able to get there. And so collaboration is important. Getting out here, developing relationships that are long-lasting and cultivating those relationships can help with the transportation, can help our seniors be able to get to and from medical appointments. I even work with a nurse who has her own company, Dope Healing, and have worked with her, who's went out and made home visits. We did a Common Unity Drive-In series right here in the City of South Fulton throughout the pandemic, where we provided food to everyone, but especially for our seniors. And so we have to work on collaborations. We have to learn how to develop real relationships, but we've also got to be out here and be able to put the work in, hit the ground running to do whatever is needed and necessary for our seniors. And so we talk about accessibility, we talk about new programs, but let's work together to make it happen and get the results that we need.
Thank you for your responses. This next question is about housing, and I'm going to start with Ms. Harris, coming this way. What steps would you take to make sure there are adequate, safe, and affordable housing options available for seniors?
The first thing that we do, that we need, we do need transparency, and we need to have conversations with the seniors. We are going to be needing more senior facilities because it is my fear that a lot of seniors are going to lose their homes. So I want to echo what the other candidates have said. There has to be openness. We should be allowed to come to meetings so that we can understand what the needs of the people are, and so that we can do the best that they need. We need to be able to meet them where they are and do whatever it is that they need.
Thank you.
As it relates to providing affordable housing for seniors, I will do what I've already done. In partnership with the Housing Authority of Fulton County, we were able to bring Anthem 1 and 2 online. Like I said, it offers 160 units of affordable housing. We worked on that project for some time, and like I said, it's the first in the city, and it shouldn't be the last. So I think it continues to working with the Housing Authority, which that's their mandate, because it's not one of the core services of government, so we have to do this through partnership. In addition, I think we can work with nonprofit housing developers to make sure we increase the supply of affordable housing for seniors, and infill development on the houses, the lots that have been demolished. We can bring back affordable housing in that way.
Thank you.
As one of my platforms is working on the housing in the city of South Fulton, and I would want to work with the Housing Authority because I do know that they, like Dr. Rowell said, that you have to work with them because that is their jurisdiction. I do know that that is their jurisdiction, so I would want to collaborate with them to figure out what we can do to get affordable housing in for the seniors of the city of South Fulton.
A lot of times we talk about bringing in housing and stuff, but nowadays the numbers that they bringing in are a little more expensive than what the houses are. So to me, I would come up with a program to where we can refurbish some of the houses that the seniors are living in. We can get money from different organizations to where we can fix the house they live in and help them keep it. We don't necessarily need to bring anything in because, of course, it's going to cost. And whoever builds it, they're going to come with their price. So to me, myself personally, if you're in a house already, let's get some people together and fix it. Get it better. Make it better for you.
Thank you. Mr. Crane.
We certainly can collaborate with the federal government and, take down some CD, community development block grant money, and do like I did when I ran Fulton County's housing program. We took down home dollars, and we were able to incentivize developers to build affordable housing in South Fulton. I was right on the ground, even in this subdivision, walking distance from here. I put two subdivisions in this community, so the dollars are there. But not only the housing, we have to make sure we have the kinds of development around us so that seniors can age in place. We've got to do a better job of that, because if we don't, seniors will end up out of the community. We don't have a hospital. We don't have ample medical facilities or doctor's offices. So food desert, we have a lot of shortages that we got to address. But this community, like all communities, there's a tremendous housing shortage, but we must incentivize developers to come to our community and build affordable houses.
Thank you.
When my parents were alive and they needed to live in assisted living, they lived in Christian City. And it cost about $5,000 a month for a place that they had no equity in, a place that they wound up dying in. So in District 7, we currently have a development that's under construction that's for seniors. And we've spoken to the developers, and we've made sure that it will be affordable for people who just can't afford to pay $5,000, $6,000, and $7,000 a month, because not only is housing the issue, it's the care that they need. They need nurses, they need, you know, different services. Also, for existing seniors, a lot of times they need improvements to their homes. So Meals on Wheels has a program where they come in, they'll put in new toilets, new faucets, they'll build ramps. So these are the type of things and the type of information that I disseminate through my newsletter to the seniors and all the residents in District 7.
Thank you. Reynolds.
Thank you for that question. You know, it's good to hear everyone speak about the things that they do and how things are to take place, but nobody up here has spoken about the real issue, and that issue is the land use plan, which the city is up under right now. That comprehensive land use plan has to be revised, and that's where the infrastructures will come into play, and that's where we're going to protect affordable housing. Because these developers are running rampant with these developments that are coming in place. There's one coming up in the District 7 area right now that is being proposed. So the West Road Old National area, I hope everyone can come in at the planning and zoning meeting next Wednesday so that you can hear what they're doing. But we have got to address the city's comprehensive land use plan if we want to deal with affordable housing and any other development in this city.
Thank you.
Whew. Well, to first begin, we want to focus on accountability. We talk a lot about what we're going to do, what we plan on doing, what we have done. But again, as my counterpart mentioned, we have to focus on that land use plan. In addition to that, we have to take accountability and responsibility for the developers that we are allowing to come in our neighborhoods, provide housing, but it is not affordable, especially for our seniors, especially for individuals who are working hard and cannot afford to live. And so we need to focus on making sure that we have these discussions with our seniors, have these discussions with the developers, and let them know, if you want to build here, you will build things that are going to be affordable and beneficial for all people in our cities. And so that's one thing we need to do, is focus on the accountability, putting that back on those developers and attracting developers who will focus on affordable housing, who will focus on senior housing. And so we have to take some accountability for the decisions that we're going to make and we are making in our own community.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett.
As we all know, this is America. And when you talk about developing anything, you're talking about making money. And I wouldn't trust no developer to come in here promising that they're going to give us affordable housing. I mean, we have to, one of the things we have to look at, like something as simple as a housing authority. Every city around us has a housing authority, and it's a reason for that. Who wants to rely on Fulton County? This has nothing to do with the council either. You know, housing authority works under HUD. You know, but if we want to have affordable housing, we have to put agencies and authorities in place that's going to manage affordable housing. We just can't rely on developers coming in here talking about, oh, we're going to save you, we're going to make some of your seniors, they'll be able to afford it, or some of your low-income residents, we're going to take care of them too, because I don't think that's going to work. That's why we became a city. Fulton County has done nothing for us, and they continue to do nothing for us. We're constantly fighting Fulton County. So one of the things that I just think we should do is really focus on putting together an authority so we can move this city forward and start purchasing land so we can manage affordable housing ourselves.
Thank
at
you.
least a portion of it.
Thank you. Okay, this next question, I'm just going to ask by show of hands. Would you support a citizen oversight committee? I'm going to say it's yeah, similar to a citizen review board. Okay, so I'm going to take it that it's so is that so it's okay. All right. I'm going to say that's unanimous. What's that?
I want to
Could you-
explain, the city has multiple city boards. All
Mhm.
of those appointees are residents and taxpayers of this city. They're not from outside the center. So
Okay.
from zoning to code enforcement, those boards are staffed by residents who live in this city who provide oversight over the areas that they're in, whether it's historic preservation or code enforcement. These are citizens. So that's why I was confused about the question. They already exist.
Was the question arrived around council, though, oversight for
It's-
council and not the boards overseeing the city per se?
I'm just reading it as it comes. It
We
wasn't,
already-
it wasn't specific.
We currently have an ethics board, which is an oversight board that oversees ethics issues. Well, and
Okay.
can I finish speaking?
Okay, hold on.
District 7 has a community advisory board, and we meet, and we discuss the issues that are important to the residents of District 7.
Mr. Bennett.
I mean, on my platform, you know, one of the two things that I highlighted was the lack of a functioning ethics board and a civilian review board. Totally different from what we're talking about right here. The ethics board, if you could tell me when the last time they were in action, then we could go along with there's some kind of stopgap to keep our council members in check. And the same thing with community review to take care of the police, so they could be more transparent. It's not really to just tell folks what to do or to call people to the carpet. It's about that word that we've been using all night, transparency, to be sure that what the law states is what the policies and laws that's in place, our elected officials and directors are following those laws and policies. That's what I think of when we talk about review boards or oversight. Not just complaining or getting advice from citizens. We need citizens that have authority to make, make decisions.
If I can chime in, Mr. Wise. About a year ago to this day, I sat on the Charter Review Commission, and it was required after the city had been standing up for 5 years. One of the main thrusts behind my presence being there was to overhaul the ethics board, because even the ethics board is made up of all attorneys. And it wasn't always that way. It was changed by our local government authority, well, the state legislators. I worked very hard on that ethics review, on this Charter Review Commission to get that change, because you don't have to be an attorney to understand complex matters. The ethics board also goes a step further. Not only must you be an attorney, you must be an attorney that practices for 10 years civil law. So as a result of that, the ethics board was almost non-functioning for over a year. They just heard the first case about a month ago for over a year. It was our suggestion to the state legislature to reconstitute the board to, yes, include some lawyers, that's fine, but each council person would be responsible for appointing a lawyer and a private citizen to that board. So that could serve to be tantamount to what we're talking about. But the ethics board has to be overhauled because, number one, it's not constituted correctly, and there are no consequences for lack of ethics behavior on this current city council. None, no teeth.
Thank you.
Can I speak to that? Some of what Mr. Crane said is correct. That was actually changed by the legislature. And the Charter Committee had a number of recommendations that we were anticipating the delegation would move forward on that have not happened for whatever reason. But what I will say is the reason that they were not hearing cases is because some members, and including the mayor hadn't made appointments to the ethics board. So that's why they couldn't hear cases. So I just want to be clear that when the ethics case is filed, then the ethics committee is convened. So They just heard, because I think maybe it was maybe 2 months ago when we finally was able to get all the appointees. And in fact, we had to change it so that the chief judge, if everybody didn't make the appointment, the chief judge could give appointments so that they can move forward on cases. So that's the reasons cases were being held.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question. Excuse me? I'm going to move on to the next question. This one is on safety and security. I'm going to start again with Ms. Bell. What plans do you have to enhance the safety and security in neighborhoods, especially for the elderly?
Well, one thing I've been doing, unapologetically serving. I am a big proponent of serving. I've served countless years here in the city of South Fulton, helped to write for and pass legislations under the former councilman, Dr. Mark Baker. In addition, I've already taken it authority and at my position to work closely with our police department and public safety to ensure that we can create a strategic plan of how to move forward in our communities, making sure that we focus on the beat study that was paid by the taxpayers many years ago. We received the results, but no action. Making sure that we can ensure that we have sidewalks to ensure the safety for pedestrians and those that actually are riding the buses. That's something we've been waiting on well over 4 years on sidewalks. They're just now talking about really moving forward. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we have better police presence, because we know that if we see them actively out here, it will be a deterrent for some of the crimes and the violence that is currently occurring in our city. And in addition, we know what the highest crime-rated areas are, which unfortunately is in District 5. So we need to start addressing those issues when they happen, not waiting 4 years, not waiting 3 years, letting time pass by. Let's start creating a strategic plan and collaborating with the departments and the individuals who can make and take action to make sure that we can provide a safer community for all residents, including our senior citizens. And that's a concern. We don't need our senior citizens living in communities where they don't feel safe, where their kids cannot play. So we need to enforce rules and laws and make sure that we are abiding and moving in the spirit of excellence.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett.
Safety, I say this every time this question come up. We've been having this conversation since I was a kid. You know, what are we going to do about crime? And every year it's the same thing. Crime is getting worse. So now you sit here tonight and you ask us, you know, what we're going to do to fix it. I'm not in law enforcement, but what I can tell you, what I believe would help alleviate crime is technology. You know, I think one of the things that we can consider is tracking devices, which is that's becoming pretty popular now when it comes to senior citizens. You know, these tracking devices could be used for if they fall, if they get lost, if they got dementia or something like that, they could be tracked real easy. They make a phone call to the police. Based on that number, the police know what address that is and what seniors living in that particular apartment. That's the type of stuff that I would like to have a conversation with our law enforcement to see where they're moving in the area of technology. As far as police showing up and police presence, we've been asking for that for the longest, and we're still waiting for a police presence in our communities.
Thank you. Ms. Harris.
Thank you. I read on my council person's, one of her mailers, that she was going to add 15 police officers. I don't know whether it's officers, but staff. According to the FBI recommendation, you should have 2.5 per 1,000 residents. We have 10,000 residents in District 1. We need 25 police officers in District 1. There's a lot of crime, cars are being broken into. I don't seem to have problems with police because they, for some reason, come to my house in the middle of the night for noise. But the average resident in District 1 is having problems with police response. 45 minutes for a police officer to show up after a car's been burglarized. it's just, it's really bad. We really need to beef up that, and we definitely have the money. With us, what do we have, a $70 million surplus? We certainly can afford 25 police officers in District 1.
Thank you.
Thank you. To address crime, one of the things we have done is to make sure that we have a regular engagement with our law enforcement. I've held many coffees with a cop to address some of the concerns so that the police officers can hear directly from residents. In addition, I agree technology is one of the solutions. One of the things we have done is rolled out tag readers and cameras throughout the city. So that has been ongoing, and it's proven to be very helpful in curbing crime in our city. What you read in the newsletter was a summary of the budget, and so we have been implementing the BEAT study. Every year we have allocated more money in the budget to add officers, so the 15 officers would serve citywide. So it's not, we don't put our officers just by district, they serve the entire city. So that's really speaking to what was in the budget, just to clarify.
Okay, I want to read the question once again. What plans do you have to enhance the safety and security in neighborhoods, especially for the seniors?
Okay, first what I would do is I would have conversations with the chief to figure out the employment status of the city of South Fulton, because I know there is a police shortage in the city, and every district does not have the amount of beat cops that they need for the area that they're serving for. So that's one of the issues that we are running into with the crime rate. Another thing I would want to do is the technology. I feel like the cameras that they have for the tag readers are working efficiently, but I would definitely want to figure out how we can get more police presence and get more employment for police in the city of South Fulton, because the lack of police that we have is the reason why we don't see so many beat cops in each district of the city of South Fulton.
I think the only thing I would do is, one, I would give them a reason to want to come and work for the city of South Fulton. You know, you got to make sure you're paying similar to what some of the neighboring cities are paying. Also, you got to get a reason to keep somebody here. You know, if I go to work every day and I'm getting yelled at, or I'm telling situations and problems I'm having and they're not doing anything about it, then I'm probably gonna go somewhere else. So what we gotta do is, when we get good people, we gotta keep good people. And one of the things I like about the tag readers, what you do is work with the HOAs and help them come up with a program so all HOAs can afford to have the tag readers. And then have the police have access to it. So now any crime that happens, it'll be easy for them to find out who it is and track them down. We got to make our city one of the safest cities in America. And once we do that, crime will go down.
I won't repeat everything that they said, and mostly everything that was said is correct. Let me talk about something that hasn't been talked about. Sometimes we might be in our home, in the safety of our own homes, and there's a tornado, and we have no tornado sirens in our city. You may not, the power may have gone out, but there are no sirens. They are over in Douglasville. People who live over close to the Douglas County line, they can hear them at a distance. We have to make sure you're safe in your home. We've got to do that. That's one thing. The other thing, we have a lot of speeders coming through our communities. Because the question was about safety and security, not just about police. You will be safer going to your mailbox if people will slow down. We need more traffic calming devices in a lot of places. And the interesting thing is the monies have already been allocated, earmarked for that purpose. We just got to make sure we do a better job of rolling it out and making sure our communities are safer.
Thank you.
So in District 7, Chief Meadows has reported that crime is actually down. I'm very pleased about that. Recently, I had an emergency town hall meeting, and after that, Police have been on Old National and been extremely visible. People have gotten lots of tickets. There have been a lot of roadblocks, so I'm pleased with that. However, there's a police shortage nationally. Also, it's important that citizens have a community crime watch program. I've worked with many of our HOAs to make sure that the seniors have relationships with police officers. I've also given my phone number to many of the seniors that are even in this room, that if you see something that's happening and if you call the police and they don't respond quickly, text me, and I also try to mitigate. Also, Councilwoman Rowell and I are co-sponsoring an amendment to the Cry Wolf program, the false alarm program, to make sure that seniors are not penalized financially, that they will just have to come to compliance and not have to pay their $100 fee.
Thank you.
Let me just say, too, that safety goes far beyond the police. And no one really want to address how crime gets started, and that's through development. You got to be careful what comes into your community, into your area, the types of businesses that's coming into your area that brings that crime in there. We have to start there. As a community, we have to talk about community policing. See, it's just like in church. When you get mad because the pastor can't come and pray for you, when you can do it yourself. We're going to have to start policing ourselves a little bit here. But again, let's get back to the root cause. And the root cause is simply development. You can't foster in these types of businesses that's coming into these communities that's bringing crime in. So you're going to have to watch that. Community policing, putting ordinances and strengthening ordinances in place for communities so that they can curtail some of this crime. Right now, some of these ordinances that we have, they're lackadaisical to the community, and we want to build and strengthen those so that we can have better safety for our seniors.
Thank you. Okay, this next question goes to the two incumbents we have on the panel. Someone is asking if the ethics board is working effectively, why aren't we able to file complaints?
I'm not aware that you're not able to, so that's the issue that we need to address. But like I said, I know we didn't have full ethic appointees. I know that's been resolved. The entire group of appointees has been trained at this point, and I think they are ready to receive complaints. So I think that may have been the challenge, but I know they recently received training.
Thank you. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Yes, you can file an ethics complaint, but when people continue to file frivolous complaints or complaints that have no merit, if they get sent back to you for you to correct it or provide additional information and you don't do so, you can't blame the city for your lack of filing something that does not make sense.
Mr. Bennett, you have a 30-second rebuttal.
Somebody filing a frivolous complaint, that's just part of the process. And there's something in place to deal with that. You know, you gotta have specifics when you file a complaint. As you know, date, time, you gotta file it in a timely manner. You gotta point out where did they violate in the charter and the whole nine. That's on that individual. What we're talking about is the lack of function. And
yeah,
even though
Dr.
Rowell is addressing it, it's still not answering out, it's not really giving us any comfort that our council allowed it to go on for so long. And again, we're not being able to speak at meetings about what's on our hearts and mind is the reason why it went on so long. It's not on the agenda, so we can't speak on it. Come on.
So a complaint is about a specific issue. Like you say, a specific violation of the charter. There's nothing preventing anyone from filing that. If you file one tomorrow, you file it, and however the clerk responds to you is how he responds to you based on his training and his authority. The council, unbeknownst to most people, the council is not involved in the daily operations of the city. If a complaint is filed with the clerk, It does not come to the council for any advisement, for us to do anything about it. That is within his purview only, and the city attorney advises him. That's how that works.
Thank you. Mr. Crane?
Let me just add this. Councilwoman Pritchett is correct. The citizens can file the complaint as they will, but it's managed by the city clerk. Elected officials are policymakers. They mandate the policy for the clerk to administer. So if we have a problem with the proper administration of those complaints that are backlogged, and the clerk told me during the Charter Review Commission that he stopped taking complaints because they were not fully staffed to hear them. But at this point, listen to Dr. Rowell, they are fully staffed now, but if they're not moving forward, it's not on the city council, it's on the clerk. So we ought to address our concerns to the city clerk, hold his feet to the fire to make sure those cases are heard. Because if we don't hear those cases in a timely fashion, people who would file complaints for ethical problems, whether harassment, a toxic work environment, they will be discouraged and stop filing because it's not going anywhere. We've got to make sure we fix that piece with the city clerk.
Thank you.
Then the council need to stay in their lane, Mr. Crane. I'm sorry, that's just how people feel out here, and we hear it time and time again. So we have to they have to stay in their lane, because there is a sentiment out there that this is what's going on, and there is no transparency or no reassurance that this is not what's happening, because it's not coming back to the people.
As I said, as I clearly stated,
Thank you.
I don't get ethics complaints. We are in our lane. We do not get involved in the daily operations of the city.
Pritchett, thank you. This next question is on health care. I'm going to start with Ms. Bell again. How will you ensure that affordable and quality health care services are easily accessible to senior citizens?
Well, one thing is it goes into education. We want to make sure that we provide better quality of life for our senior citizens. As mentioned before, working with, collaborating with other businesses, Dope Healing, a lot of other CareLink are organizations I currently work with. CareLink is a nonprofit organization that is staffed by many nurses and doctors, and it's available to anyone at low cost or no cost to our senior citizens. That is something that partnerships with Wellstar. Dope Healing is a local nonprofit organization that's right here in the city of Atlanta. She serves many areas from Clayton County, Cobb County, as well as Fulton County. And she has serviced a lot of our senior citizens. You know, we want to make sure that we're providing health care options, affordable health care options, or free options for those who are unable to pay for the high cost of insurance. So it's important that in order for our senior citizens to age in place, we've got to give them the proper necessities, which includes health care.
Thank you.
And so that's what I plan on doing.
Well, I think I'm the only senior citizen up here, because these folks can't be over 65. I'm speaking from experience. That was, Medicare starts at 65. Okay, you may be a senior citizen, but you're not. But to get to your question, though, I think Medicare is probably one of the best healthcare programs this country has to offer. The socialized medicine, as some Republicans will call it. The pricing is affordable to seniors. The only problem that I've experienced with lack of affordability is when co-insurance come into play. We need to look at programs that can assist with co-insurance, because, I mean, is anybody out here that got Medicare know you pay up to $144 a month.
No, these are the ones
$148
that-
if it went up over the past
Yeah.
couple of years. But when you get sick, that's when insurance gets expensive. It's okay long as you're not sick.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, when it comes to senior care, we need to talk about trying to help out with the co-insurance, you know, like stipends or that type of thing.
Thank you. Ms. Harris.
Thank you. Yeah, the seniors need a lot of help in that area.
Those are all set.
I would do whatever I can to have community meetings to find out exactly where the seniors are. There are other programs that, I'm not going to regurgitate what's been said, but there are other programs if you're a caregiver. You have Passion to Care and programs such as that. If you are a caregiver, you can actually be paid to help take care of a senior citizen. So I thought I would add that on. But the seniors, a lot of them just aren't aware of certain programs. I'm glad to know that Meals on Wheels are back, because at one point the government got rid of it, and I think they were surviving on donations and so forth. But you know, look into those, or I encourage you all to look into those programs for people that take care of their seniors.
Thank you for the question. One of the things I think people know that in order to get a hospital, which many people have asked for, it's going to require changes at the state level. But one of the things that I've focused on is making sure we have access to health care, because at the end of the day, we really don't want to be in hospitals. We want to live healthy, vibrant lives. And so a couple things that have come online in District 1, we have Healing Community Gardens, which is a federal health clinic. It's in the Promenade office building. We have Grady's Outpatient Center, which is in the Kroger's Plaza at Cascade and 285. And in addition, during the pandemic, I worked with CORE and our fire chief, Chad Jones, to work with our neighborhood churches throughout the city, not just District 1, to make sure we were giving COVID vaccines and testing, and that was rolled out citywide. In addition, I've recently partnered with Walgreens. They're going into all my senior housing communities to do flu shots, COVID vaccines, and so those are things I have been working with and sharing information all along from local churches about health resources that they have, sorry.
What I would do to help with the health care for the senior citizens, I would like to get like you have the food truck parks, I would like to get a health truck park in to come in to give free services to the seniors that need it. I know that in District 1, we do have an urgent care for them, and then the Grady Center that's close by for them as well. But I would definitely want to bring in a health care truck venue so that the seniors can get the service that they need at free of charge for them at that time.
One of the things we talked about earlier that I agree with, I think there should be a senior citizen center in every district. But until then, we partnership with churches where you can bring knowledgeable people in and tell you about Part B, Part A, C, D, and E. You know, explain to you which each one of them is, the price of them. Right now, most people that call me about their seniors, I tell them about Humana. Humana is, well, for my mother-in-law, has been great. They got a nurse and doctor that comes out once a month, sees about it. Anything we need, we get. So we need somebody knowledgeable to come in and explain to the seniors, break it all the way down. It doesn't matter who come in, because it's up to the senior to make a choice of which one is affordable for them. But we have to find a way to get people in the information out. To me, we partnership with churches, because most all our seniors go to church. So you bring these people in the churches on certain days to get the information out.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Bennett, for that great compliment. You said you were the only senior on this panel, so but thank you for that. Here's what I would tell you. Hospitals across this state, and probably in other states as well, but certainly in the state of Georgia, are closing. But that does not reduce the need for us to have a hospital in the city of South Fulton. This is one of the largest cities in the state of Georgia, second or third largest in Fulton County, over 100,000 people. We need a hospital. But so therefore, we have a crippled healthcare system. But you know, the greatest threat to healthcare is healthy bodies. We need to stay healthy. Dr. Rowell was right. We need to make sure we have great nutrition programs available, not just for seniors, but make sure for everybody. Exercise programs, not just physical, but mental. Because one of the greatest threats we face, or one of the greatest concerns that we have about aging, is dementia. It's a bad word, and it's an even worse disease. So we've got to put things in place so that seniors can have access to those kinds of things so that we can stay healthy and not have to be so dependent on getting fixed. It's less expensive to stay well than it is to get well.
Well, I will agree with Mr. Crane that it is important to be healthy. And because of that, I've had many food giveaways in partnership with the Green Shades Foundation and HelloFresh, where we have provided healthy food for seniors that have suffered food insecurities. And we have taken food and delivered it to seniors to their homes. So I'm glad that we had the opportunity to be able to address those needs. I also know that when my parents were living, it was very important that they were able to have doctors that were nearby. Doctors, my mother had Alzheimer's, so it was very important that she had specialists that were near that she can go to. And I'm glad to say that on Old National now we have a very nice medical center that was recently built. So it's important that when we talk about development as well, that that includes a place for physicians to come to. We just opened up a physician's office just in District 7 last week. So that's an important part, making sure that people have access to health care nearby.
Lord knows we need a hospital. Hospitals are popping up around us in other cities as well. Just over in Statesboro or Peachtree City somewhere, they building a brand new Piedmont. You know, I don't know why we can't do it, you know, but so we're gonna have to light the fire up under our state legislators or whoever is in charge of that. We're gonna have to partner with them. We're gonna have to really push this thing so that we can have adequate health care. In the meantime, I think that we need to partner with our faith-based organizations to have them open up their doors to bring in some of these clinics and so forth to provide the health care in the surrounding areas. Lord knows there's a church on every corner, so I don't see why we couldn't have that happen. So what we also need to do is that we need to bring in, foster in more education on health care, open up facilities to where people can take a need or want to become nurses and doctors and so forth. But again, we have got to move forward on this healthcare situation. And again, I would love to give healthcare free to every senior. You know why? Because you have paved the way and paid for it for these people who are getting it free today.
Thank you. Okay, on this next question, a lot of residents have been complaining that they are not able to make public comment. So if you are willing to restore public comment and the live chat back to its original form, please express commitment by raising your right hand. Okay, one moment. Dr. Rowell, go ahead.
One of the things I don't think the public realizes, a lot of times we were getting public comments and could not even follow the issues that residents were speaking to. So they would be speaking about things, assuming the council knew. In addition, we get our packets on Friday before a meeting on Tuesday. Sometimes those packets are several hundred pages. You usually spend a whole weekend. And so what I've told people, and I've told my constituents, if you see something on the first read, I would prefer that you reach out and tell me your issue, because oftentimes we can't respond in real time if we're really trying to make changes to a legislation. So I think I'm open to looking at what we could do, but at the same time, sometimes our packets have been as high as 800 pages. Mm-hmm. So reading that, hearing comments and responding is challenging. So I just want people to have a perspective on how this really works and how we have to process information.
I think 1 second, Ms. Pritchett, go ahead, and then
Last night, I attended an event over at the Georgia Bar Association hosted by Commissioner Marvin Arrington, who happens to be an attorney. And the discussion was about the do's and don'ts on social media. And I asked the question, is our city in compliance, you know, by limiting the comments on social media? And they said it's really not an issue. However, I remember when I was a citizen and I used to come to all the council meetings and I used to give public comment. But back then there was a public comment card that when people wrote down their issues, it was given to the council member so the council member would know, you know, how people felt about things. So I do believe it's important for us to hear from people. That's why I scan social media, Nextdoor and Facebook, just to see what some of you are thinking. And many times I do respond to people in messages when they bring up concerns. So it is important for us to hear from you, but we want to hear from you more than just during a council meeting. I have lots of citizens and residents in my district, in this room, that communicate with me quite frequently. So I'd like to see that continue.
thank you. Ms. Harris?
Okay, public comments. Maybe the council may need to have more days to kind of break these agendas down. There's one thing, just one thing that I miss about Bill Edwards. Bill allowed the residents to come to the podium and express whatever was going on in their lives. Because without the residents coming to the podium and talking to the council about issues that are bothering them, then they're never addressed. So I do think that public comments should be retweaked. I think that residents should be allowed to come on certain days. Maybe we need to have another council meeting, but there should be time where a resident can come to the podium, use their 2 minutes to talk about what's affecting them in their community.
Mr. Bennett?
We need our 30 minutes per council meeting to speak about whatever is on our mind. And that's just the bottom line with that. Why should we be penalized because you're getting a document 800 pages long 2 days before the meeting? We have nothing to do with that. That's something just like you said, like Pam just went to. Get it done a little bit quicker, get it a week earlier. I mean, I'm not even suggesting what y'all should do, but it has nothing to do with our 30 minutes per council meeting. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. Give us our voice, and that's the bottom line. You could do what you want with it once we say what we say. Just give us our voice.
I will say it's unfortunate if people don't feel they can reach out to their council members, because I get so many emails, texts, and calls. I think it would blow your mind how much, I'm saying it's a tremendous amount of information. And so our town hall meetings, that's really what that platform is for. I don't know many places in America where they're described as you have described it. And we go to trainings where there's a back and forth exchange. I'm just saying, that's what the town hall is, to dig a little deeper on these issues. And you should absolutely have a relationship and pick up the phone and call your council person if it's a pressing issue. I get it all the time. I attend multiple HOAs. We go deep when I'm at those meetings, and people share a lot. So I don't think it's most council people feel that they're not in tune if they're going to council meetings, going to town hall meetings, hosting them, as well as going to HOAs, because I get inundated with calls, and they're not even just my district. I get calls from all over this city.
Okay, last response from
I still don't see what that has to do with somebody just coming up and getting their 2 minutes. You know, look, the reason why we have public comments, because sometimes neighbors don't know what's going on. And if I'm having a conversation one-on-one with a council person, I may not get what I'm looking for from them. But when you put it out there in the public square, you have other people that could come give their advice, their suggestions, and you can move the conversation forward. It's not about just me wanting to speak and speak to my council person. It might be like for instance, the retention ponds. That's something that we all in subdivision, a lot of our subdivisions have issues with that. We having to pay for that right now. But if I want to talk about a retention pond right now, unless somebody put it on the agenda, it's not going to be spoken about publicly. That's all I'm saying. You're taking away the public voice when you say, well, just call me. You know, that's just how I feel about that.
All right, thank you. We're real short on time right now, so right now I'm going to ask for your final comments. We're going to start again with Ms. Bell.
Thank you all so much for this evening. Thank you to the pastor of the house and all the residents, because again, we believe in our residents in the city of South Fulton. But again, I am Keosha Bell. I am the candidate for District 5 in the city of South Fulton. Be the change. It's not just a slogan. It is about service. I'm a deep proponent and passionate about serving in the community. Through my actions and proven results and receipts, I have done a lot here in the city of South Fulton, and I look forward to being an elected official who continues to fight countless hours for public comment, for you as and for you as the residents, and making sure that we tackle some of the food insecurities, some of the information and misinformation that you all are provided. I believe in integrity. I believe in being altruistic, serving selflessly.
Thank you.
And so I also look forward to being the next city council person, and you can reach me at www.voteforkeoshabell.com.
You make this real simple. This is about District 5, now that we're closing out, you know. We have our issues, and I'm not gonna sit here and talk about all of these working with or creating programs and all that, because I don't think that's what being a council person is all about. It's about advocacy and watching the budgets and that type of thing. But we got issues with Camelot. We have issues with speed bumps. We have issues with sidewalks. We have issues with security for seniors, you know, public works. We have issues that this council should have been focusing on from day one. That's 30 seconds or a minute. Kalvin Bennett, KalvinForDistrict5.com.
I'm Pamela Harris. I'm running for Council District 1. I will bring transparency and inclusion. I think that the residents should be included in government. Council people work for the constituents. It's not the other way around. And I will be committed to work for you and be the best council person that I can be. And I will try to restore those 30 minutes of comments from the residents so that we know what their needs are. Pamela Harris, the number 4, district, the number 1.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Councilwoman Dr. Catherine Foster Rowell, and as you know, I've served from day one, and progress is evident. We've had quality economic development in District 1. You have sidewalks in District 1. You have traffic calming in District 1. Actions speak louder than words. Vote. Take advantage of early voting. It's underway. It began October 16th and runs through November 3rd, and Election Day is November 7th. A vote for Catherine Foster Rowell is a vote for progress, continued progress for the city.
Thank you. Let me see the other name.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angel Gaines Dingle, and I'm running for District 1 in the city of South Fulton. I just want to let the residents know that I promise to give you the full term, the full 4 years in office, and then some. I just want to let you know that I'm here to listen to your needs, listen to your concerns that's going on in the city of South Fulton. I do continue to bring growth to the city that we are seeing, and I do want to continue to bring safety in the city of South Fulton. Vote for Angel Gaines Dingle for District 1, and please get out and vote. It's very, very important.
I'm David Lee Williams Jr., candidate for District 3. One thing that I going to bring to the table is what I always talk about, character. Respect for my coworkers, respect for the community. Loyalty, loyalty to do what I say I'm going to do when I'm going to do it. Loyalty to listen to you and learn what you want, what you need, and for me to find a way to help. Last but not least, to me, City of South Fulton like a family. And one thing you do, you protect, feed, and take care of your family. I'm David Lee Williams Jr.com.
Thank you so much for putting this on. I'm Bennie Crane. I'm seeking the office of City Council for the 3rd District of the City of South Fulton. I make a commitment to you that I will listen to you. I will keep my ear pressed against your lips, and I will be the voice of the district. So much so that I've taken the South Fulton United Pledge, and I challenge my competitors and the incumbent to take the same pledge. It says, I will not interfere with the city manager's duties. I will not bully city personnel or my colleagues. I'll perform my duties with professionalism. I'll put the city's interests above my own, and I'll seek common ground through diplomacy because ethics and integrity matter. Vote for Bennie Crane to be your next city councilman for District 3. BennieCrane.com is where you can find me.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Councilwoman Linda Pritchett from District 7. I am extremely excited about the Senior Citizens for a Better South Fulton. I think this is a wonderful initiative, and as I've shared with 2 of its leaders, I am committed to helping you, to hosting and sponsoring activities and events, and I want to make sure that citizens in District 7 are aware of what you're doing and that they join in and collaborate and fellowship with you as well. Again, my name is Linda Pritchett, and my website is vote4linda.com, and vote for me at Flat Shows Library to re-elect Linda Pritchett. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alvin Reynolds, candidate for District 7 council seat. Let me leave you with this. This is an election. And what is an election? An election is about representation. You see, in corporate America, in order for you to even get a raise, become a partner, or to do anything, they measure you by your performance. I take and say, everyone out there, vet these 2 candidates that is running for District 7. Look at the performance that has been done with this present council person, and also look at what I have done on my platform and what I can do and capable of doing. Again, Alvin Reynolds, candidate for the City of South Fulton, District seat number 7. Thank you.
So thank you all for coming. And just have one last thing. There are several people up there on the platform that have signed the Senior Citizens Pledge. And the pledge only states that you will be committed to making the senior citizens' life, better in this city. Senior Citizens for a Better South Fulton. I'd just like to read some of it, and I'd like to get more of you to sign this pledge because it shows a commitment. And to the people who your questions did not get answered, we're going to do this again because we got a lot of questions that did not get answered. So we are committed to answering those concerns and those questions of the senior citizens in this city. Senior citizens are a vital part of our community, and they deserve to age with dignity and in an environment that values their wisdom and contributions. So, when you sign this, you will pledge to support and fight for enhanced healthcare access, better access to affordable and quality healthcare services for senior citizens, including specialized care for age-related conditions, mental health support, and preventative care. Number 2, affordable housing options. Senior citizens should have access to affordable and safe housing that caters to their unique needs, whether it's through improved or senior housing initiatives or home modification assistance programs. Protection from financial exploitation. implement and strengthen measures to protect senior citizens from financial exploitation, fraud, and scams. Number 4, transportation services. Improve transportation options for seniors, ensuring they have access to essential services, visit to loved ones, and maintain an active social life. Community engagement. Promote programs that encourage senior citizens to remain active and engage in our communities, fostering intergenerational relationships and reducing social isolation. Elder abuse prevention, that's my baby. Develop and enforce stringent laws and policies to prevent elder abuse in all its forms, including physical, emotional, and financial abuse. Access to information. Ensure that the senior citizens in this city have access to information and resources that help them to make informed decisions about their health care, their finances, and their living arrangements. Support caregivers. We don't have any support groups. We need support groups. There's all kinds of support groups that are needed in this city. So please support that. Provide support and resources for family caregivers who play a critical role in caring for their elderly family members. And they are pre-seniors themselves. So this would help them as well. One more. Promote senior employment opportunities. Encourage employers to create opportunities for senior citizens in the workforce, recognizing the valuable skills that they bring to the table, and advocacy and representation. Establish mechanisms for senior citizens to have a voice in policy making, ensuring their concerns and needs are heard and addressed. I would love for you all to sign this and show us your commitment to us. And I thank you again for coming. It was a wonderful turnout, and I look forward to doing this again and working with each one of you.